All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I have my first submitted replay from one of you viewers. This is going to be a replay submitted by, I believe it's, I don't know if I'm butchering this, but Papaspadopoulos. Quite a long little name there. We're just going to call him Papa over here, seeing as he is playing Papa Nurgle. I do believe he is playing as the Nurgle pieces. If that's incorrect, then something's wrong with the replay file. Regardless, he does have a bunch of Plague Bearers, and a couple of Exalted Plague Bearers, as well as Kugath, 2 Cultists, and a Beast of Nurgle. Pretty fancy build. Now, this is going to be a little different for me because I have not previewed this battle. I do not know how hype it is, what exactly happens. So, it's going to be interesting. I'm fairly excited to watch a battle just for the first time. And cast it live, not knowing what's going to go on. I may miss things, in which case, you know, I apologize. But regardless, over here on his opponent's side, I don't think it listed the name for this person, but it is a High Elf player. Interestingly, they did not opt in for a caster. Magic's very, very strong, especially for the High Elves, so wouldn't recommend doing this typically. However, both these players, I have been informed, are probably not of the highest caliber. I myself am not either. Regardless, we're just kind of here to have a little bit of fun, see what we can learn. Skill level here isn't going to matter as much as most, I guess, more competitive matches may. So, it's a land battle, obviously, if you haven't already gathered that, or if I already mentioned it, apologies. We do have a long line of Spearmen. Ooh, Silvern Guard. That's going to be very, very nice from the High Elves. And then a couple Lothern Sea Guard. Well, it's just one, actually. And then 2 Sisters of Averlorn, which is very hype, as well as Rangers and Dragon Princes in the back, a Flamespire Phoenix up in the air. Pretty fancy army. Both these armies are very elite for the most part. Oh, it looks like there's some Chaos Warhounds I didn't spot. Yeah, so very elite armies. They spawned on opposite sides of the map here, and we're going to see how they approach. I do believe that the High Elves are going to have to move in, as Kugath has the ranged artillery advantage here, so he's going to be able to get some pot shots in, and the High Elves are going to have to be the ones advancing. As you can see, he's getting some really good damage. Very good targeting on those Sisters of Averlorn. They're probably the most expensive unit, besides, obviously, Dragon Princes, but Kugath's specialty is not in killing Cav. So, very good target from the High Elves. It looks like they're going to pull the Sisters of Averlorn back, see if they can get him to target someone else. Nice long straight line. When it comes to multiplayer battles, you do want to try and stagger your formation, kind of like the Nurgle player, Papa. I'm not going to say the full name, apologies. But Sisters of Averlorn coming in with their first volley. Plenty of good damage on those Plague Bearers. I do believe if I were the High Elf player here, I'd be pushing up a little bit more, because I'd want to get some shots on the Exalted Plague Bearers, or the Festering Stooges specifically, as well as the fact that Kugath's still getting those pot shots in. Luckily, though, they do have the firepower, so they're actually forcing Nurgle in here. If I were the Nurgle player, I probably would have sat back even further, let Kugath get as much damage as possible until having to engage. Those Chaos Warhounds, oh, it looks like they were going to route back around. They slip right through here. Spearman just letting them waltz right by. Not too much damage, but they were going to see if they could slip in and through and get into the Sisters of Averlorn. It didn't look like that was quite going to be the case. Beast of Nurgle, though, is coming in completely unimpeded, and he's just going to push right through these Spearmen, maybe? Front lines are meeting, though, and that Beast of Nurgle doesn't seem like he's going to be able to get through. So the Sisters of Averlorn are unimpeded. I mean, they're still getting nailed by Kugath way over here. But for the most part, the High Elf player has been able to keep his backline safe. There's one cultist that made it through. He's a foot lord, or foot hero. He's not going to be too much of a threat until he gets his summon up, potentially. Tyrion is a crazy good combatant. He's going to start putting the hurt on this Beast of Nurgle. I do believe we have, yeah, the Lothern Sea Guard also putting down a lot of damage on that Beast of Nurgle. So plenty of damage coming down here. And it looks like we have the Dragon Princes coming around the flank. Chaos Warhounds are here to potentially interfere. They're not going to be able to, obviously, win that fight or even cause much damage, but they can at least maybe break a charge and get a better engagement. Kugath has summoned some infested Nurglings, but Dragon Princes are going to get a nice back charge, rear charge, right onto the Exalted Plague Bearers of Nurgle. However, Chaos Warhounds are going to be sandwiching them. Now, that's a really good charge, but these Dragon Princes don't really have like a good escape. They don't have a good way out of here. So this could actually turn out pretty well for the Nurgle player if these Dragon Princes are stuck in melee for too long. They're going to start trading not so well into especially Exalted Plague Bearers and being rear charged might not be the best scenario for him. Now, these Sisters of Avalorn have almost been routed off, I'm pretty sure entirely by Kugath. Yeah, 907 value there. Pretty darn good. He's just been pelting them this whole entire game. You see the Chaos rounds do route. They'll come back, though, for sure. Over here, the Cultist is getting beat up by the Flamespire Phoenix. He has definitely overextended a little bit too far. It was nice to get on top of those Sisters of Avalorn, but now he's isolated. The Phoenix is going to make him pay for it. And it looks like the Beast of Nurgle did get killed. I missed it. Oh, apologies. Look at that. His body sticks around. I thought he would, I thought he'd be demonic and his body would disappear. That's interesting. Tyrion's going to take it upon himself to completely ignore the main battle here and go see if he can deal with Kugath. I don't know that this is actually going to work. Foot Tyrion has crazy good stats. Oh, nice Nurgling to the face there. Kugath's ready for it. I don't know that this is a 1v1 Tyrion can actually win. Kugath has a massive HP of 14,000. And he also has that drain effect. But it looks like he might be bringing the fight over to the main front line here, which would actually be the best for him, as then he can start getting his DOT down. I do believe, was that brought? He does have a lot of spells here. Probably a little too many spells. Typically you want to try and keep one, but there you go. The Pestilent Decay, we have that area of effect DOT. So he's bringing it over, which is really, really good from the Nurgle player, getting him a little more to the front lines. He's going to start dealing damage to these Dragon Princes. Tyrion's going to take a little bit of a tickle as well. Both these cultists are still alive. It looks like the Phoenix left this one alone. I don't know if they've gotten their spawns. Maybe I missed them. But the front line engagement's definitely not going too well for either side. As you can see, there's some shattering going on over here. Although, ooh, I didn't realize the Festering Stooges was a terror, because that's some terror routes. There we go. There's a Plague Bearer summon, I do believe. At least they're coming from that side. I'm going to assume that was a summon. Hound's coming back again. But on this side, the Elves have won this engagement, at least in the forest. Most of these Plague Bearers are down for the count. And on this side, it looks like the High Elves have almost completely lost it. They still have these Rangers, which are anti-infantry. They'll be able to trade, I think, decently well. Maybe not into the Festering Stooges, but definitely into Plague Bearers. But right now, most of this is just going to be this duel between Tyrion and Kugath. He's got some Sisters of Avalorn poking him, so Kugath's definitely feeling a little bit of pain, but again, he's just got such a massive HP pool. 88 melee defense, my goodness. That's coming from the, active ability Piz. But even Tyrion can't quite cut down 88 melee defense. That is a pretty crazy number. So as you can see, I do believe he is losing this duel as of right now. But other side of the map, it looks like the High Elves might be getting a couple victories of their own. Spearmen are going to start pushing forward. It'd be really good for these Spearmen, especially the Silvern Guard. Yeah, they're both Silvern Guard. To get over on Kugath, they could be putting a big hurt on them as they have that anti-large. So, bit of a misplay from the High Elf player there, but some things are definitely of concern for them here in their front line engagement. They're bringing in the Lothern Sea Guard to melee. I'm not sure I totally agree with that one, but there's very little options for them at this point. Nice, beautiful charge from the Dragon Princes, getting a little bit more damage on those Festering Stooges, but without these Sisters of Avalorn, seeing as they've gotten both just absolutely shellacked by Kugath, he's just been wailing on them the entire game. Beautiful, like, priority from the Nurgle player. Gosh, I'm saying Nurgle weird. Ooh, nice cast right here. Absolutely dealing a decent amount of damage onto the Sylvan Guard. Either way, Kugath has been prioritizing the Sisters of Avalorn very, very well. They're pretty much the key that can either kill Kugath himself or a unit like these Festering Stooges, which is an extremely difficult unit to remove from the battlefield in melee, that is. Now, Sisters of Avalorn would be a great option. It looks like these Poison Warhounds are going to pick up both Sisters, which is absolutely fantastic. But I think the biggest misplay is probably, at least for this High Elf player, is not bringing a mage. A mage would have been absolutely stellar, and High Elves have access to all sorts of magic. Pretty much almost all the magic, and so they can have some really good spells that could absolutely wipe that big blob right there, or maybe help bring down Kugath, or whatever else could have happened. Could have been a really, really good play to bring some magic. Might have been able to switch around that fight, but absolutely beautifully played from the Nurgle player. I gotta say, Papa did Papa Nurgle quite proud. Let's see if we can check the damage numbers here. Now, typically Kugath, in my experience, gets lots and lots of value just off of his DOT, but he really wasn't utilizing it too much in that match. This damage is almost purely from him just wailing with his artillery piece, which I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. I did not realize his artillery was that effective, because 2.8k value is absolutely insane. Now, obviously, he had some really good targets to shoot at, these Sisters of Avalorn, who were no slouches in their own right. Festering Stooges, absolute tanks, just cannot die. Very, very hard unit to get rid of. That's, again, a job probably for the Sisters of Avalorn, or if there was a mage for the High Elves, that would have been their job for sure. Looks like these cultists did their job in being annoying, not too much value across the board on the rest of these units, but it's pretty much just these Exalted Plague Bearers and Kugath carrying the day. Pretty nice, slow, and strong play, I must say. I'm pretty impressed with especially Kugath's artillery. That was very, very nice. Tyrion not paying for himself much at all. Foot Tyrion is a bit of a difficult one, so he needs support, and I think you can sometimes make it pay off, but obviously in this match, that was not the case. Dragon Princes obviously not getting as much value as they were worth, but for the most part, oh, it looks like the Arcane Phoenix didn't do too bad. For the most part, the damage came in from these Sisters of Avalorn, who, if they were protected even better, probably could have actually carried that game. But obviously, Kugath wailing on him, it's hard to protect him from a 14,000 HP artillery piece, so it is what it is. Regardless, well played to both these players. It looks like we have the name for the High Elf player, Ruben. I can't say that. Regardless, thank you guys for submitting the replay, specifically Papa Spadopoulos. I'm probably butchering it. Regardless, thanks again for the replay. It was a lot of fun. That was interesting. I'm looking forward to more replays. It's pretty fun just kind of going in and not knowing exactly what's going to happen in the battle. So, interesting, and it's fun to, you know, give out some advice and shout out exactly what maybe players ought to be doing instead of their current strategies. Regardless, I have enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you later.